Commentary on the Katha Upanishad, by Swami Nirmalananda Giri. Part 2. Fainting is a very real possibility for all of us, and that is why these warning words of Nachiketa were written in the Upanishad. Father, do not repent thy vow. Consider how it has been with those that have gone before, and how it will be with those that now live. Like corn, a man ripens and falls to the ground. Like corn, he springs up again in his season. The law of reaping what has been sown and conversely not reaping what has not been sown is to be taken most seriously in all aspects of life, but especially in spiritual matters. Solomon cautions us, when thou vowest a vow unto God, defer not to pay it, for better is it that thou shouldest not vow than that thou shouldest vow and not pay. 3. The question here is not that of God being angry or sad at our non-payment, but the negative effect our own perfidy will have on us directly. It is not God that rewards and punishes, but our own self, and its justice is inexorable. So asking God to release us or forgive us means positively nothing. It is our own self we are dealing with, and it cannot be gotten around in any degree whatsoever. Sad to say, there are many examples of those that have gone before, who foolishly reneged on their own selves and suffered the consequences, from simple unhappiness to abject and long-lasting misery, and even death. This latter is no exaggeration. I know of examples myself. If you will excuse me, I will not cite any examples at all, for it is simply too bleak. Just do not be one yourself. But I will tell you the principle I have seen demonstrated over and over again. Whatever a person abandons his spiritual life to keep or to gain will be, usually abruptly or even violently, taken away from him, and he will never regain or restart his spiritual life in this incarnation. I have never seen an exception. Never. I am, however, not speaking of merely risking or retarding the personal spiritual life. We all do that just from making mistakes or from silly foibles, but of the actual giving up and turning from, even rejecting of, one's spiritual life and obligations. This is fatal. At every step of our spiritual life we must keep in mind the law of cause and effect, and consider how it has been with those that have gone before, and how it will be with those that now live. And lest we think that if we escape the karmic reaction in this life we are home free, Nachiketa added, like corn, a man ripens and falls to the ground. Like corn, he springs up again in his season. So there are future lives in which our neglect can come to fruition in many forms, all inimical to our further progress. Of course, the words of Nachiketa only have meaning to the wise. As Krishna told Arjuna, even a wise man acts according to the tendencies of his own nature. All living creatures follow their tendencies. What use is any external restraint? If a man keeps following my teaching with faith in his heart, and does not make mental reservations, he will be released from the bondage of his karma. But those who scorn my teaching, and do not follow it, are lost. They are without spiritual discrimination. All their knowledge is a delusion. Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 4. When you make a vow to God, do not delay to fulfill it. He has no pleasure in fools. Fulfill your vow. Bhagavad Gita 3:33, 31, 32.
Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakrite jnanavanapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati.
33. Sadrasham cheshtate swasya prakrata jananavan api, prakratam yanti bhutani nigraha kim karisheti. Even wise people act according to their natures. For all living beings are propelled by their natural tendencies. What will one gain by repression? Sri Krishna again comes back to the point about action being superior to inaction. Propelled by their natures, people are inclined to act in accordance with their individual modes. Even those who are theoretically learned carry with them the baggage of the sanskars, tendencies and impressions, of endless past lives, the prarabdha karma of this life, and the individual traits of their minds and intellects. They find it difficult to resist this force of habit and nature. If the Vedic scriptures instructed them to give up all works and engage in pure spirituality, it would create an unstable situation. Such artificial repression would be counterproductive. The proper and easier way for spiritual advancement is to utilize the immense force of habit and tendencies and dovetail it in the direction of God. We have to begin the spiritual ascent from where we stand, and doing so requires we have to first accept our present condition of what we are and then improve on it. We can see how even animals act according to their unique natures. Ants are such social creatures that they bring food for the community while forsaking it themselves. A quality that is difficult to find in human society. A cow has such intense attachment for its calf that the moment it goes out of its sight, the cow feels disturbed. Dogs display the virtue of loyalty to depths that cannot be matched by the best of humans. Similarly, we humans too are propelled by our natures. Since Arjun was a warrior by nature, Sri Krishna told him, if, motivated by pride, you think, I shall not fight, your decision will be in vain. Your own nature will compel you to fight. Bhagavad Gita 18.59, O Arjun. That action which out of delusion you do not wish to do, you will be driven to do it by your own inclination. Born of your own material nature. Bhagavad Gita 18.60, that nature should be sublimated by shifting the goal from worldly enjoyment to God realization, and performing our prescribed duty without attachment and aversion, in the spirit of service to God.
Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto nasuyanto muchyante tepi karmabhihi.
Karmabhi, those who abide by these teachings of mine, with profound faith and free from envy, are released from the bondage of karma. Very beautifully, the Supreme Lord terms the Siddhant, principle, explained by him as Mata, opinion. An opinion is a personal view, while a principle is universal fact. Opinions can differ amongst teachers, but the principle is the same. Philosophers and teachers name their opinion as principle, but in the Gita, the Lord has named the principle explained by him as opinion. By his example, he is teaching us humility and cordiality, having given the call for action. Sri Krishna now points out the virtues of accepting the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita with faith and following them in one's life. Our prerogative as humans is to know the truth and then modify our lives accordingly. In this way, our mental fever of lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, etc., gets pacified. In the previous verse, Sri Krishna had clearly explained to Arjun to offer all works to him. But he knows that this statement can cause ridicule from those who have no belief in God and rebuke from those who are envious of him. So, he now emphasizes the need for accepting the teachings with conviction. He says that by faithfully following these teachings one becomes free from the bondage of karma. But what happens to those who are faithless? Their position is explained next.
Ye tve tadabhyasuyanto nanutishtanti me matam sarvajnana vimudhanstan viddhi nashtana chetasaha.
those who find faults with my teachings. Being bereft of knowledge and devoid of discrimination, they disregard these principles and bring about their own ruin. The teachings presented by Sri Krishna are perfect for our eternal welfare. However, our material intellect has innumerable imperfections, and so we are not always able to comprehend the sublimity of his teachings or appreciate their benefits. If we could, what would be the difference between us tiny souls and the Supreme Divine Personality? Thus, faith becomes a necessary ingredient for accepting the divine teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. Wherever our intellect is unable to comprehend, rather than finding fault with the teachings, we must submit our intellect. Sri Krishna has said it. There must be veracity in it, which I cannot understand at present. Let me accept it for now and engage in spiritual sadhana. I will be able to comprehend it in future, when I progress in spirituality through sadhana. This attitude is called Shraddha, or faith. Jagadguru Shankaracharya defines Shraddha as Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Dridho Vishwas Shraddha, version 18. Shraddha is strong faith in the words of the Guru and the scriptures. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained it similarly. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Sudrir Nishchay, Chaitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Leela, 22.62, version 19. The word Shraddha means strong faith in God and Guru. Even though we may not comprehend their message at present. The British poet, Alfred Tennyson said, by faith alone, embrace believing, where we cannot prove. So, Shraddha means earnestly digesting the comprehensible portions of the Bhagavad Gita, and also accepting the abstruse portions, with the hope that they will become comprehensible in future. However, one of the persistent defects of the material intellect is pride. Due to pride, whatever the intellect cannot comprehend at present, it often rejects as incorrect. Though Sri Krishna's teachings are presented by the omniscient Lord for the welfare of the souls, people still find fault in them, such as, why is God asking everything to be offered to him? Is he greedy? Is he an egotist that he asks Arjun to worship him? Sri Krishna says that such people are achetasa, or devoid of discrimination, because they cannot distinguish between the pure and the impure, the righteous and the unrighteous, the creator and the created, the supreme master and the servant. Such people bring about their own ruin, because they reject the path to eternal salvation and keep rotating in the cycle of life and death.